Welcome back to the show, DBE fam. I want to say that this is Pep Talk Tuesday because it's Tuesday when I'm recording this, but it might not be Tuesday when we're dropping it. So here you go. It's a little pep talk. This is what I'm thinking about right now. I want you to consider this message. And I want you to consider this message because I feel that as humans, we get trapped in this little box. We get caught in this little box. And I want to kind of just talk you through it. So the overarching theme here is not to let the result or lack of result dictate the action. Don't let your result dictate your action. It's pretty simple, right? Like conceptually, it sounds simple. So what I do for myself is I strive for being the person who's committed. I strive for looking at the result from who I'm being rather than the result for what is happening. Now, in the context of this conversation, we're going to talk about business, right? Because that's what I teach is business. I'm more concerned with how I'm showing up consistently, the result of that, than the result of a launch or the result of how much money or the result of how many people enrolled. And I want you to think for a second, because we all do this. We launch something and we hear crickets. And so then we start to think, what's the point? I knew I couldn't do this. Limiting beliefs creep in, fear gremlins take over, and we start to validate those emotions and feelings. And we start to say things like I said, what's the point? It doesn't matter. Nobody's watching. Nobody's buying. Who cares? No one's going to notice if I don't post today. Right? We do this all the time. It's not just with a launch. Like we put up a post. We spend a lot of time on it. We think about it. We're in Canva for 90 minutes creating a carousel. We're so proud of it. We put it up and it's crickets. Nobody engages. Nobody comments. Nobody's reaching out to work with you. Nobody shares it. Nobody saves it. And so then we get into this loop, into this pattern, into this cycle of like, well, I don't want to do that again because it didn't yield the result. It didn't give me the dopamine hit. It didn't make me money. It didn't make me famous. It didn't make me go viral. It didn't fill in the blank. And so why would I do it again? It was so hard. It was so hard for me to do that. It took so much time and effort, right? We do this all the time. We do our very first live and nobody shows up. Nobody shows up. And you're just talking to yourself and you feel like an idiot. And as soon as you're done, you're like, thank God that's over. I'm never doing that again. Thank God that's over. I'm never doing that again. What's crazy is imagine that if the second time you went live, 15 people showed up, or the third time, 150 people, or the 16th time, 4,000 people showed up. Like imagine if you knew, and we talk about this inside of our signature program when our clients are launching, because one of our coaches had this experience many, many years ago, back in 2019. She had a silent launch, which means 0 people enrolled. And she did 2 or 3 silent launches back to back. But she wasn't waiting like 12 weeks in between. It was like, okay, 3 weeks later, dust herself off, stand up, do it again. Is that TLC? No. Dust yourself off and try again. Is that Aaliyah or something? Anyway, showing my age. She did these launches back to back. And then on her 3rd or 4th launch, she had a $50,000 launch. And so one of the things that she always says to our clients every single round is, if you knew that on your 4th launch, it was going to be a $50,000 launch, how fast would you move through launches 1 through 4, 1 through 3, right? And it's like, well, when you look at it that way, if only we knew, right? If only we knew the Steve Jobs quote, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. You have to trust that they'll appear. And those are dots. It's like, gosh, if we could only see the dots ahead of us, maybe we would actually take action. So this idea, this concept of not taking action because of the result, or in a lot of cases, lack of result. Imagine if every day you look down at your body and you decided that you were going to go for a walk or you were going to go to the gym based on physical changes that you saw in your body. So if you woke up and did not see new fresh abs, you wouldn't work out. If you did not see a juicier tush, you would not work out. If you did not see that you've visibly lost an inch off of your waistline, you would not go for a walk. You would not move. One, that's just ridiculous. Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine? And 2, would you actually ever see change? Like, no, you would never see change because you would never be taking action towards change, because you would be letting the result or lack thereof, or fact that you just couldn't even see the result yet, dictate whether or not you were going to change. We talk about this all the time, where it's like planting a seed in the garden. We don't plant the seed and then the next day expect there to be fruit on the tree. We don't even expect the tree to be grown. We plant the seed and we surrender, we trust, we let go. We do what we need to do. We take action, right? We water it, we nurture it. We might have to fluff up the soil, do whatever we need to do, make sure it's getting enough sunlight. But we just trust that it's doing what it needs to do underground. And it's growing its roots and it's sprouting and it's breaking through the seedling or whatever it does. I don't know. I'm not a gardener. And then one day it pops up through the center of the earth and we see it through the crust of the earth. And then, even still, when it's like this little green, whatever sprout, we still are not judging. We don't stop watering it like it's been 3 weeks and it's not a tree yet. It's been 6 weeks and it doesn't have apples yet. Screw this. No, we continue to go out every single day and we water it and we check on the light and we make sure it's good to go because we know eventually it's going to grow into the tree that we want. And according to Google, it takes like 4 years for apple trees and pear trees to bear their fruit, 3 to 4 years. Pineapples take 18 months before they appear. Bamboo takes 3 to 5 years underground before it even pops through the center of the earth. Think about that level of trust. We don't see the result. We don't physically see the change, yet we're still willing to take the action. But then when it comes to business, we're like, meh, nobody liked my post. Meh, nobody DM'd me. Nobody came on my live. It didn't go viral. I didn't make a sale. That person said no. They rejected. They said it's too expensive. And then we just roll over and quit. Like, how ridiculous. Imagine if you looked at your body every day and decided if you were going to go to the gym based on how you looked. That is the equivalent to looking at your bank account every day and deciding whether or not you're going to post. Literally, that is the equivalent to looking at your bank account and deciding whether or not you're going to show the hell up for your business. I mean, come on. No, I'm not going to send the email. I didn't make any money today. I don't know. Should I share about my free opt-in? I don't know. My list didn't get any bigger overnight, so I'm not going to share the very thing that's going to make my list get bigger. Like, can you see how backwards that is? So what I do is I strive for the result of who I'm becoming rather than the result of the tangible thing that I'm going after. And then that allows me the permission and freedom to just show up. So I just show up. I post, I sell, I write emails, I do lives, I have launches, and I do them all of the time. Not because I want more likes or because I need to make more money or want to or want to make more money or increase my open rate or because I need to have someone share it or right. Like I don't need the comments. I'm not posting for the comments. I'm not launching for the money. I mean, there's a part of the business model where it's like, yes, of course, the business is here to make money, but I'm doing it because of who I be, because of who I'm becoming. It's like every day I'm clocking into the business gym, the business bank. I'm putting deposits into the business bank every day. That's what I'm doing. I'm staying consistent because consistency creates habit. It's the action that you take that actually breeds the confidence. Everyone's always, I'm not ready. I'm not confident. Newsflash, you're never going to feel ready if you don't do it. You're never going to feel ready until you do it. You have to do it. You have to do it for you to feel ready. It's like when I was in college, I was looking for bartending jobs and there were a couple places that I had gone to. And it was like the first 3 or 4 restaurants or bars that I went to, they're like, yeah, we don't hire anybody without experience. And I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to get experience if nobody will hire me until I have experience? This is backwards. This doesn't make sense. That's how a lot of you are treating your business. Action breeds confidence. This here about being who you're, it's about being, it's about doing, it's about doing the things so that you can be the person. This is integrity. This is integrity. Integrity is honoring your word. And a lot of us are really good at honoring our word with other people. Sure, I'll pick you up at 3. Yeah, let's have a play date tomorrow. Hun, I'm going to make this for dinner. We're really good at honoring our word for other people, right? My boss told me I have a meeting. I'm going to be there on time because it's my job, honoring my word. But when it comes to ourselves, a lot of us aren't so great at honoring our word to ourselves. And what we do is we break our self-trust. And every day that you break your self-trust, you're losing out on the opportunity for becoming that version of you. You're losing out on the opportunity for confidence. You're losing out on the opportunity for the reps and the consistency and the grit and the strength and the resilience. Imagine if I tell myself at night, I set my alarm for 6 a.m. and I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. And what I do when my alarm goes off is I hit the snooze button and I do not get out of bed. Before 6 o'clock in the morning, I have already broken trust with myself. I have already deemed myself a promise breaker. I have already let myself down. I have already disappointed myself. I have already continued to live in a habitual loop of course, because I always do this. I've always been this way. I'm not a morning person. Into the stories, into the limiting beliefs, and into the BS that I've created for myself to keep myself safe. When you do that throughout the day, every day, and you just have these micro breaks and micro tears and micro trust cracks, then how the hell do you expect to ever lead yourself anywhere? How are you ever going to get yourself to the next level? How are you ever going to be able to take action on big, new, scary things? Why would you ever, ever think that you would be okay in an uncertain time? If you can't even trust yourself? So I challenge you today, after you listen to this, I challenge you today to do the opposite. Can you do one thing today? Can you make one promise to yourself today that you actually fulfill? And when you fulfill it, no matter how small it is, celebrate yourself for it. Take a moment of silence, pat yourself on the back, take a deep breath, crack a smile in the mirror. Can you set something up today that's so silly, so insignificant, so small, like finishing your water bottle that's sitting on your desk in the next half hour? And then when you do it, celebrate the hell out of it, because that's a deposit in the right direction. That's a deposit. That's not a withdrawal. When you break trust, that's a withdrawal from your bank. When you gain trust with yourself, that's a deposit into your bank. And we want fat stacks of cash in our bank, right? So I want you to make deposits. So today, just give yourself a little challenge, a little something, a little promise, and then celebrate the hell out of it. And guess what? Do it again tomorrow. And then the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. And over time, these tiny little wins are going to start to make you feel more confident. These tiny little wins are going to start to make you realize and recognize that it's not actually the result that you're looking for that matters. It's the result of who you're becoming that matters. It's not how many people enrolled. It's who are you when 0 people enroll? How do you act when 2 people enroll? How do you show up in your life when 10 people enroll? It's about who you're becoming. It's not about the money. It's not about the clients. It's not about the likes or the comments. And you, at the end of the day, get to become the creator of your own momentum. You're not just going to wake up. Motivation is fickle. It's like coffee, my friends. It disappears. You're not just going to wake up motivated and with momentum all of the time. Your business isn't going to be on the snowball of a ride all of the time. It's going to have valleys. It's going to have peaks. It's a roller coaster. That is entrepreneurship. You want a merry-go-round? Go get a 9-to-5. And I say that with love. I left my 9-to-5 because I realized that I did not like merry-go-rounds. I do not like Ferris wheels. To me, it was boring. I don't love consistency and repetition and certainty in that way. When I was a school teacher, one of the things that literally made the hair on the back of my neck stand up and made me want to scratch my eyeballs out when I would drive to work is like the consistent routine year after year of it's back to school night, and then it's the book fair, and then we have, field day, and now we have parent teacher conferences, and now it's the holiday show. And for me, you can hear it in my voice, like that was torturous. But for some, that is gold. For some, that is simplicity, that is routine, that is certainty, that is breath, that is freedom, that is stress-free. And for me, I felt like I was chained. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like the walls were caving in. I felt like my creativity and the momentum that I wanted to create for myself was being squashed. So I said, screw the Ferris wheel, screw the merry-go-round. I got to get on a roller coaster. And to me, the roller coaster with the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, the unknowns, the peaks, the valleys, the challenges, the wins, for me, that is much more exciting. The upside downs and the flips around and the 180s, like Much more exciting. Much more exciting. Be the creator of your own momentum. I love you. I see you. And I'm just so grateful that I get to pop into your ear every now and again. Thanks for letting me be here. Cheers to your evolution. Don't forget your homework today. Go do something. Do it in the next half hour. Commit to something. Follow through with that promise. Celebrate the hell out of yourself. And then DM me on Instagram. I am Jessica DeRose when you do. Tell me what you did so I can celebrate you too. Love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you loved this episode, I invite you to be a part of our ripple effect and share it with a friend. And please, if you feel called, take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review, and I'll be forever grateful. Until next time, cheers to your evolution.